Okay, we're live. Right. Welcome to Conversations once again on this in the middle of the Thursday afternoon. And today I'm not alone. And as you can see from uh, our title, we are talking about India's Got Latent and all the controversy that's surrounding it. And I'm very happy that after a long time, I'm reuniting with my colleague from my days back in India and when I was still learning journalism, I still am. But I have with me Geeta D. She is the deputy news editor of News 9 Digital. And I'm so thrilled to have you on the show. Geeta, how are you doing firstly?
Fantastic. And likewise, has been, we've been chatting over so many things in so many years. Well, things that have happened in your part of the world that connected us, in back here. And now we're talking about this. So it's always a pleasure talking to you.
I wanted to absolutely same here. I wanted to connect with Geeta for the earlier story of Saif Ali Khan as well. She sent me a list of questions, in fact, for the Saif Ali Khan story, and I was like, "Oh, really? Some of these I had missed." And that was such an incisive piece that you had sent me. I wish if there's some update on that, we'll come back on that. But for
Yeah.
now, I know what's on everyone's mind is India's Got Latent. Now, Geeta, first things first. We're not Gen Z, but
No,
we are in the current times when these things are happening. It wasn't happening when we started out our careers.
not
But
at all.
did you know about India's Got Latent? I didn't even know this name of this show.
So thank you. You starting at the perfect place to start, There is so much of content, I don't know about you. I'm sure you don't. I don't watch TV anymore. We all consume,
I don't
yeah,
either.
exactly. So we all consume our content on through OTT or, you know, um, Insta or social media or whatever, right? And there's so much of content. And then you know what social media has a habit of, if you like something and you stay at something, then you see more of the same, right? So I know
Right.
there was some like Life of Paji, for instance. I follow him because I like his stuff. So you know
Right.
of certain comedians, you know of certain people. I had no idea about this content. I still don't know where it is beamed. I had no idea
It is
about
being
a
on
show that
YouTube.
is called by this name. I don't even
Yeah.
know these people at all. So yeah, I have no idea who they are, where they're coming from. I did know, and I do know Ranveer Allahbadia. It is bizarre, but I am in the process of watching his Ramayana series that he's done recently with different
Yeah.
people, and I'm actually halfway through the Hanumanji episode, and it's
Okay.
been done. It's really interesting, but I just stopped it because obviously it's an hour and a half, so you tend to
Yeah, you need
step
break.
out and do something or the other, because I tend to actually watch podcasts when I'm doing some work that doesn't require me to think, if I'm cleaning my house or whatever, so I keep listening to it, and that's how I do it. So I had to stop that, but now I just don't feel like going back.
Just
um
because
you
of
know
this controversy.
Truly, yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised at my this thing, but yes, what do you have to say about this whole thing that has come up?
So just like you, even I didn't know. Actually, I didn't even know who the Samar Raina was, and I still don't know who he is. I still don't know who is Apoorva, that girl over there. The only two faces most people knew were Ranveer's and Ashish Chanchlani's.
Yeah.
And this, so I'll tell you, this video is on YouTube, and me being a content creator myself, YouTube gives you an option to screen your content to members first, so members only. So this show was members only. So fair enough, it was meant for a particular set of audience. It was never supposed to be going out and be consumed by regular lesser mortals, maybe like us, who probably don't understand this brand of humor. But this was for members only, and those members were pretty happy seeing and consuming what they were consuming. The like they say, the shit hit the roof only when
Yeah.
it became public. So, but this guy Samar Raina, I've been doing some research on him. He's big on YouTube, and he's got a lot of members. And when you screen your content to members, everyone has to pay to become a member. Firstly, just like your
Okay.
Netflix, it's pay per view kind of a thing. So if you're a regular member, you pay like a minimal fee which the creator sets, which is like 59 rupees or 99 rupees. But if you want to become a privileged member, then you pay more fees. Like in Summer's case, I think there is about 599 rupees तक
Okay.
भी है. तो ऐसे tiers होते हैं. So he had these for this entire show was meant for those members, and he had invited these guys, is what I understand, on the show. And this episode is also not very new; it has been uh, broadcast earlier. But now there is a catch here. This members only content can then be made public. Once the members have
Okay.
seen it and they've consumed it, then you can put it out for the rest of your audience. So like uh, the entire universe of your audience and everyone beyond that can watch it. So this was the whole deal with this. Now I didn't know about it, and I didn't know about most of these people as well. So when I saw this, it took me a while to actually understand and believe that somebody like Ranveer would go there. Although, trust me, I mean, if I were to put my very honest opinion out here, I have seen his podcast in bits and pieces, all the reels that he makes, but I never thought that he's a very incisive sort of interviewer. He goes into the depths of the
Yeah.
person who is interviewing. I thought the way of his, that's one way of doing it. The way of his asking questions is more childish. It's more like, let me tease this guy, let me get a little bit of scoop out of this person.
Yeah.
That's the way he kind of does it, and it's been working for him very well.
So for
We
me, sorry.
No, I'm just saying we are being joined by some of our viewers. Jyotika Singh has joined. She's saying
Yeah.
hello to you. Hi, Jyotika.
Hi. Hi,
And
Jyotika.
I don't know, Jyotika, if you are a Gen Z, but she's saying, believe me, even the Gen Z are disgusted with this. Yeah, actually, it would be nice if there are not Gen Zs watching us.
Gen Zs join us. Yes. No, so for me, see, I discovered Ranveer purely because, as you know, in the news channels, the conversations have become 30 seconds, subse tez, 20 seconds. There's no depth in the conversations. And the thing with Ranveer was that he's young to be wanting to ask the questions, or he wants to ask those kind of questions because, he's at that age of his, that he feels that he can ask those kind of questions because he doesn't know. But what I like is the kind of guests. I mean, the spectrum of guests that he would get. And they, in turn, made his podcast very interesting because they came with experiences. He's also had people who are, so many different age group, people. And I quite like his podcast, and I still will not stop watching them. But having said that, for me, when I saw this and the newsroom, it sort of blew up crazily. But, it did disgust me. Two reasons. A, the question itself was, you know, all of us sit down, we have a group of friends, we all talk non-veg, we also talk naughty, we also talk whatever, but it's amongst friends. And
Yeah,
this is, and also what I'm saying is exactly what I saw yesterday. Varun Dhawan had said
yeah,
ages ago, he was being questioned, why doesn't he go on to Samay's show? And he said, look, I know where it's heading. I can sort of take it on and I can deal with it and I can do whatever, but I know it's going to get into trouble and I know I'm going to get it. So, I mean, he sort of put things in perspective. My point is that you can sit with a group of friends and talk whatever you want. I have no problems. My problem is the format of the whole thing. I've seen very little of it, but whatever I've seen, it is not funny. I am not squirmish. You can use galis. You can even use, innuendos or come up with something in a joke, which means you start off a story and then you say MCBC or whatever, and then you're telling me a story. I am
yeah.
okay with that. What I'm not okay is that MCBC becomes a joke.
So
So
yeah.
I saw this. There's a clip
My
where
problem
Apoorva is saying, yeah. So where there's a clip where Apoorva is saying, right, when she's talking about the contestant's mother saying whatever.
yeah.
That for me is not a joke.
None
That
of it
is
was funny. That's the
is
problem. None
exactly
of
what
it.
Rama is saying. It is crude, it is crass, it is vulgar, and it is not funny. There is a difference between a joke in which you can use galis and there
Yeah,
are galis.
yeah.
So
That's just
that for
plain
me, I
funny.
think is a differentiation what people need to understand,
I,
because I've seen a lot of videos being done in the channels, asking the kids, what do you think it's funny? He said, oh, it was a joke. It isn't a joke.
doesn't a joke.
Saying,
Yeah. It,
you've seen your mother's this thing the last time you were born is not a joke. It's not funny. And I know, if we are in a channel and somebody is using these kind of language in the newsroom, you know what is going to be slapped on that person, right? I mean, in
yeah,
terms of the law and the rule. So it
yeah,
is not funny. It's crude, it's crass, it's vulgar. Having
yeah,
said that,
yeah,
it is not just these people. It's also the contestants who go there. It's also the people who are watching them who think it's cool. Um, and it's also the makers who are making this, and and it's also feeding the other way around. Just because they have become famous, they have this huge following, somewhere down the line people think that's the way to be cool, because look, I mean, often you get back saying, yeah, but look at the way he's got like millions of followers.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a
that's
shortcut
true.
to success. Yeah, that's
So
that.
they, any, it's like saying that, okay, I can do something wrong, but because I have million of followers, I have to be right.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
is
And
something,
you can
for me, is
lose
not acceptable.
that perspective. And Jyotika, who's joined us, seems like that she is a Gen Z, and she's saying that they don't find this funny. And he has lot of subscribers after this. His YouTube page went down from like million plus, I guess. He's got lots of subscribers to like
Yeah.
he lost at least easily like a 10-20 lakhs, some odd number. We're also being joined by Nandini. She's saying worse was his fake narcissistic crude laughter and body language. Yeah, not cool. And also, my thing is, he didn't apologize because he was sorry or he
No.
realized that he was wrong. He purely apologized because he got caught, and this members only video made it to the general public.
Public.
And he only apologized because there was such a big UN cry, and he realized that this is now going to come down to
Snowball.
his bread and butter. It's going to come down to all the fame that he's built for himself over all
Yeah.
these years. And it's literally impacting his business and his money, because I know I'm a content creator. And if you are a full-time YouTuber,
Hmm.
Geeta, trust me, you don't know how much YouTube takes also from you. It gives you a lot, but it
Yeah.
also does take a lot from you. It's a deal with the devil. It's a full-time job, and then you can't do anything else. I was seeing one of his videos where he said that when I think he had some issue with YouTube. बीच में कुछ हुआ था where he had some cyber security issue basically, and he wasn't able to stream podcast. Some problem had happened, so he thought that he has to go back to doing his business. The
Hmm.
fact that he stopped doing his business and was only doing YouTube is because not only does YouTube pay you well, but also takes away a lot of time of yours.
Hmm.
So this is what he did was extremely dangerous. And although now that in hindsight, when you're seeing all the other videos coming up, you know how people are, they pull up
Yeah.
every
They'll
past.
always, yeah, yeah.
You can totally tell that he had become sort of entitled, and he thought that, okay, now I'm so famous, I can literally get away with anything.
But Ron, that's exactly where I want to take this to. You can't just blame these kids. I mean, Apoorva, him, all of them were doing this crude sentences using some body parts and some galis and passing it off as jokes. But
Yeah.
these guys were invited to be on KBC. Now, picture this: you have Amitabh Bachchan, who is so particular about correct language, correct
Yeah.
body. I mean, he's very
We've met
correct,
him. We've
and
met
he's
him. We've
very
all,
well mannered and
as
brought up
journalists,
and
yeah,
educated.
as
And
journalists,
then
we've all
you
met him, and we've
yeah,
interviewed.
and then exactly, and then we have Samay being called to be part of KBC. It's not. I mean, you know what he was doing, right? You know what he was going to do, and so therefore, I just don't understand this. That there are millions of people who loved him. I'm sure half of them are now not following him, but they were the ones who loved him and they were following him, and now they decide not to like him because
But for
I
how
don't know
long?
why. No, no,
But for
but
how
I don't
long?
know why they don't like him now, because they were liking him earlier, right? I agree, Pratik, there is no crime. And I agree. I am not for banning anything. I will never accept anything needs to be banned. I will never accept that you ban somebody or hold somebody responsible, in the sense legal terms. No, I don't want that even for these people. But I do have an opinion. And if they are public and so on social media, I'm sure all of us can have an opinion and can talk about what they did and have a choice, right? They chose to be who they were. I can choose to say that I don't like what they are. And
So
you don't,
that is
exactly. And
absolutely.
I completely agree. You don't talk about your parents. There are certain lines you don't cross, right? You won't talk like this to about your parents, about your grandparents.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
you
one
don't
thing.
talk like this.
I will tell you, there is a way of saying things. If you watch Kapil Sharma show, and we've all seen it
Yeah,
many times,
yeah.
and he goes back to saying these things. Oh, mummy, papa, when they come on the show, they're like, he will crack these jokes like, हाँ, ऐसे ही हम इतने मिलियन का पॉपुलेशन नहीं हो गया है, मम्मी ने पापा ने ज्यादा टाइम बिता दिया बेडरूम में, वो ऐसे भी बोलता है. It's not like Other comedians don't do it, but
Yeah, but
this
he
was
also gets lambasted, Rona. Don't
sometimes.
forget.
But also
Yeah.
there is a way of doing it. Like we all crack
Yes.
such jokes at home also, like in a social gathering. uh we say these things, but
Of course.
you don't say it in those many words. You don't make it so in your face is what is the
No, but
problem, I think.
again, I have a problem. It is
It's not funny.
not about the joke. I'll tell you what. I just last night I got a thing popped up because I follow a lot of I love British humor, so I follow a lot of that on my Insta. And this thing popped up where on BBC they are all 50 plus members sitting, and there are two teams, and the host, who's also about 55, 60, says that he says, okay, let's start off now. We this in this round you have to say a statement that will apply both to people having sex and driving a car, right? And I was cracking because the lines that came up were applicable to both if you're driving a car and if you're in, having sex. And it was genuinely funny, and there were no gullies, there were um no
Yeah, yeah,
body parts that were
yeah.
mentioned. So I completely
And
get that. But
it is so much more funny, it is so much
yeah,
more
yeah,
enjoyable. Now, let me give an update on what's happening on the case for those who have just joined in. So, Geeta and I are talking about the India's Got Latent controversy, and at this moment, they are in trouble and they're in deep trouble because FIRs have been filed across different parts of the country. They also have been called to appear before the NCW, which is the National Commission for Women, in New Delhi on Monday,
yeah,
on the 17th of February. All of them have to appear, not just these three, which is Apoorva, Samay, and Ranveer, but also Ashish Chanchlani and the show producers and the Sardarji who was there as well.
like Lupaji.
Yeah, the Paji, yeah. All of them have to be in front of the NCW and they will ask them questions. And it's like a show cause notice, like why should we
Yeah,
not punish you? And also, the amount of collateral damage that has been caused to all of these creators is quite massive as well. Now, the thing is that a lot of other comedians are being asked about this, and most of them are saying कि joke ही तो है, it shouldn't be uh, taken so seriously. And then again, a lot of people on social media are also saying that, why aren't rapes and murders being treated so swiftly? Why aren't they not being brought to justice? But firstly, I don't understand only this concept of two wrongs making a right. Like you can't say just
thank you.
because that is wrong and that is wrong, this wrong should be, we should
Yeah,
let go of it. It is lesser of a crime. I'm not saying it's a crime also. It is a it is more like more than a crime. I think it is more like a
wake up
something,
call for them to say what they're doing is
a
where they're heading.
forbidden. It's like a
Yeah,
forbidden.
yeah.
I mean, you
No,
can't
so
put them into
can
jail
I
for
say
this.
something here? I There are these comments that are coming up. First of all the people who are saying, I my anger is so much more when I hear I see that line saying that, oh, they were just joking. This is not a joke. This is what I
It's
want to
not a
keep
joke. That
hammering.
is the
This was not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. You don't say galis and a body part and say it's a joke. No, you can use them in a joke. You cannot. There is a difference. You can use a gali in a joke. You can say something in a joke, but this is not a joke where you're saying, what you've done that to your mother, what you've seen that, or I'll give you 1,000 rupees if you come and do this to me. That's
yeah.
not a joke. That is an obnoxious statement.
But
One.
all this is
Secondly, all those who are saying, about freedom of speech and free press and whatever, my thing is, sure, I like I said, I hate anything being banned or whatever. So I'm saying, please, I agree with freedom of speech, and everybody should be free to say what you want to, write what you want to do, whatever. But then so are others. Now you can't say freedom of speech is only for me. Now there
mm,
are others who are. I'm taking you somewhere right here. So there are others who will hear what you're saying, and they're free to say that in this country, I have my legal right. I will slam you with an FIR, which takes me back to them in that case. Is not that you don't have the freedom. With freedom comes responsibility. Now if you're
okay.
not responsible and you do not know that this is how you will cross the line, you will get a backlash. Varun Dhawan knows the line. I'm coming
Yeah,
back to that. Varun
I'm
Dhawan
sure
knew the line.
not
No,
just
no,
Varun Dhawan,
I'm
a
just
lot
here
of
one thing,
people.
Ronak. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, just hear me out. I think Varun Dhawan knows the line. He said that I can be like them, I can talk like them, but I can't go there because I know I'll be slapped with cases. So my
Yeah.
point is, it's not about freedom of, you can be as free as you want to. I don't believe in bans, and I don't believe in, that anything should be banned or you should be stopped from saying anything. Please go ahead and say it. There is a time and place and subscribers, who want this. But my point is that if you are free to say something, then the others are free to exercise their rights of
Yeah.
given to them by the country to say, okay, if I do FIR, then you can't start crying saying, oh, victimhood. I'm sorry, no, you've got freedom.
You
I,
said
I
what you
stand
had
by
to
your
say.
freedom.
You said what you had to say. Now let the others speak now. Okay,
No,
let's
no,
take
it's
some
not let the
comments.
others. It's more like, the others are objecting. I have a problem with your being this thing obnoxious. But I will also now come in and say that these guys messed up, they are in trouble. To then
Hmm.
start attacking their families, to start attacking, going beyond them or beyond what they did, that
Hmm.
is also absolutely unacceptable. I mean, if they're genuinely sorry, if they genuinely feel they have messed up, if they've learned something, they apologize, done, let's move ahead, let's see what they do next. If they're a habitual something, if they continue doing after this, then they will also have no reason to then feel, they're not that
So,
victimhood thing, right? And if they sort of turn their life around and they do something which is genuinely funny, even while using galis, then that's okay. I mean, there are adult content available. Let it be an adult content. If they feel they want to go there, let them do that. So I'm saying,
you-
very rightly this outrage happened, but let's limit it to them and not their families.
yeah.
You know, they're young, they are entitled to mess up, and they are so huge in terms of number of following. They are
Hmm.
seeing the fallout of that happening, both monetarily,
Do you think
family wise.
they've suffered enough? Do you think they've suffered enough?
Yeah, look, I am not a god to say how much one should suffer or not, but I'm saying that if there are people who are saying that, they've unsubscribed them, even though I'm sure some of them were people who were also subscribing and following their content earlier.
Hmm.
I haven't unsubscribed Ranveer. I just don't feel like finishing Hanumanji Wala because of
Because
what
of
has
this.
happened right now. But I'm sure I'll go back to it because the guest is so good. But I'm saying that I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying let them be. I'm not saying, law is going to now take its course, unfortunately. But I'm saying that's it. I think don't go beyond them to their families.
Whatever
That's all.
punishment was supposed to be handed out has been handed out. You think
Yeah.
like that? Okay,
Yeah.
hold that thought. Hold that thought. I want to come back to that, but let's take some comments because people are joining us, and the whole idea of doing this live is so that everyone can share their
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
We already read what Jyotika wrote, and she's a Gen Z, and she said that most of them don't like such comments, and they have. That's why I lost so many subscribers as well.
Yeah.
Nandini Samant is saying I suppose Nandini is talking about Ranveer. Worse was his fake narcissistic, crude laughter and body language, which is not cool. Now, I want to go back to that because when I did that video, which is doing really well on my channel, and when I called out YouTube as well, because YouTube is equally complicit to let these things pass and then come back and start, taking things down when shit hits the roof.
Yeah.
And that's a different live, a different discussion altogether. How YouTube what it does with content creators when you do genuine things as well.
Hmm.
But coming back to his apology, I thought his apology was way too casual. I thought it was almost like his PR team whispering in his ear saying that jaldi whatever, just say it so that it dies down, and move on. He was not even he didn't even look remorseful. He didn't even look like he was genuinely sorry. The only sorry that he felt was that it was impacting his business, it was impacting his career, it was impacting his image, which was then going to destroy his podcast business. That is what was coming across in that apology. It was nowhere an apology for what he said. He still doesn't think that this was funny. He says comedy is not my forte, I shouldn't have, but dude, this
Yeah.
wasn't comedy any which way. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it wasn't funny, and his apology is nowhere close to something that can get you any brownie points in this case. That was
No.
my reading of it.
Take away. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, um, like the word a lot of the these days kids uses authentic self. I don't know how much of their authentic self they have put out, how much of it is genuinely coming through, even the way they do it. I want to see. Actually, for me, what is more interesting is to see what they do from now on. I mean, if Samay has
That was
deleted all his videos, I will wait till I judge, for me to finally come out and say, do they mean what they say, and do they say what they mean? Seeing what these people do here on from now, because they've seen what
that
it is,
only
right?
time will that only time will tell.
Exactly. But I
We
agree with you about apology. And for me, again, maybe it's a generational thing, but I can't get over the fact that there are a lot of kids who are being, how it is, the channels go around on the street
Is it
talking to
really a
people.
generational thing? Because we all have
No, but
Gen Zs.
no, Ronak,
I
listen.
don't see them
Most of
going
them are
around
saying
talking
it's so
shit about
big
their
deal.
parents
They were,
all the time.
yeah, yeah. They are all are saying big deal. It was
They
a
say
joke.
words like Lulu and Defo and whatever these things, but they don't go around saying shit about their parents and definitely
And this
not
is
to.
another thing that Manjunath is saying. There are hate speeches and given by political. I mean, exactly. There are hate speeches, there are rapes. Doesn't mean that nobody's talking about them. There are also, people are talking about them as much as we're talking about this. I mean, it hit the headlines because these guys have a huge
Two wrong things.
following and influence. They call influencers because they tend to influence. So I
We
mean, to say that, oh, you're not talking about that, no. Right now our topic is India's Got Latent, whatever the show is. And we're not talking about the hate speeches, but when hate speeches happen, trust me, everybody talks about, and they are taken to court and they are
yeah,
discussed.
there's
I
a
mean, for a
fallout.
whole month, all the channels did nothing but stay on to the Bengal rape case, and we
Come
went
on.
back to it
What
again. So
happened to
it's,
Nupur Sharma?
yeah,
Do we have to forget about that? Like
oh
what
no,
she
not
said
at all.
and
Yeah,
where she ended. Like I
yeah,
mean, we don't know where she is right now.
yeah,
We'll take more comments.
yeah.
Rama is saying, I really didn't expect this from Ranveer, a so-called influencer. If this is how he influences people, it's better he stays away from the public platform. Now that's where Geeta is coming to, I guess, because she's saying that now what he does next is going to be very crucial because
Not just him, all the
all
people
of them, but
inside.
for Ranveer,
Samay has deleted
Ranveer is
all
the
his
biggest.
videos.
Ranveer is the biggest, and if you see all the others were still playing in that same zone. I don't know about Apoorva and all. I didn't even hear their name. I still don't know what they've done in their life before.
Same
But at
here.
least Ranveer was the one who has the maximum to lose because he was the one who was getting PM Modi on his show. Biggest journalists haven't got, but he got a platform with him. He's
Yeah,
got Smriti Irani. He's got all the big actors. He's got actors like Sunny Deol and people who don't even talk much.
yeah,
उनकी फिल्में भी आती है तभी भी वो लोग बात नहीं करते हमसे बट ही इज
yeah,
गॉट ऑल दीज पीपल
yeah,
एंड ही इज बीन एबल टू आस्क देम क्वेश्चंस दैट probably a journalist also wouldn't be
yeah,
able to ask. So he
yeah.
has the most to lose. So
But listen, again, these people in Bombay, as you know, don't you don't remember that roast that happened,
yeah,
after which they had to shut down the
Deepika
entire
Padukone and
sorry.
Karan Johar and all of those people, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Arjun.
and that whole roast was shut down. They all had to apologize. My point is, again, the same thing that, and also it feeds into what you said, that I don't think their apology was heartfelt. My thing is, whether it's that roast case in front of them, where again it was comedy, where you were, using MCBC, again, and then Varun Dhawan saying what he said, that look, I can come, I can be like them, but I don't want to do this on video. If they, after all of this, they did not realize what they were doing,
And this was
then
before. Yeah, this was before it happened.
yes.
When Dhawan said it much before.
Yes, but I'm saying it's not that these guys don't know about Tanmay. It's not as if they don't know who Varun Dhawan is and that he's spoken about Samay. I'm saying that if after all of these things, they still were going ahead and doing what they were, somewhere down the line they thought, हमारे साथ थोड़ा ऐसे होगा. And they
That's what I'm
genuinely
saying.
thought,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were entitled and they thought that they can get away just because they're famous, they can get away with anything.
yeah,
And let's take more comments. Pratik is
yeah,
saying, let's please realize no crime was committed. You go to jail for being evil or criminal and not for stupidity and crassness. And no doubt Ranveer was stupid, having spoken to multitude on podcasts, learned pretty much nothing. That is, I guess, of course, that's what we are saying. It's not criminal, it's just forbidden.
yeah.
And
It's
now,
not
of course,
just
but
that. There are also certain rules about and regulations, which is why you have certification in the films. You
correct,
also have
correct.
certification, and there
Yeah.
was certification
No,
even in television channels. Remember, adult
no,
content could only play
I take
beyond
my
10
words.
p.m.
I take my words back. It's not just forbidden. It can be construed as criminal because there is a law to govern
Yeah,
these kind of things. There is
yeah,
a specific law in our in our constitution which
yeah,
can actually take you to court for these kind of things.
yeah.
Ramalala is saying our parents are revered, and you speak in such a condescending manner about them. It's shameful. Truly, I think that is one opinion which is standard across. Like nobody has countered that. Like nobody's come
Yeah,
around
but
and said you can make jokes about your parents in such a way.
and for me,
I mean,
I'll just take
there
it
are
a
opinions,
step
but
slightly
this one
different.
is.
No, no,
Hmm.
I'll just take a. For me, it is appalling. Not so much as that you're speaking about parents like that. It's appalling that you're speaking about your parents. So, I mean, you're going to face them every day in the evening, in the night, in the morning. So, I don't feel hurt that he said that about a parent. I feel, how is he or she going to face their parent, their own
He,
parents?
but he's asking someone else about it. That would you rather join your parents
Yeah,
having sex? I mean,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
not
And
the
that
kind
person
of.
is laughing. So, I mean,
That
both of
person
them are.
was. I mean, nobody's spoken to that contestant. If I had
Yeah.
access
No,
to
but
him,
he
I would
went there knowing.
have.
Come on, Ron. See, that's the hypocrisy I don't like. All the contestants who go there know it's again we are ignoring the other thing. Roadies. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
I
Roadies was all about how many galis you give and how much this thing you do it in a different way. But we've been encouraging stuff like this, right? Roadies had the same thing. You go there, you give galis. We used to have had a show on a television channel where you had young kids dancing to a Helen or Kanta Laga songs. 5, 6 year old kids making those weird expressions on their face, which is illegal. You can't do that. They were made to wear those chania cholis and lehengas and made to, put that hajar makeup because you require that to be in front of the camera. And then they were made to dance on Kanta Laga. Oh my God, I can go on about how in the film industry or entertainment industry, what they've been doing. So for these kids to be having their minds skewed, that saying that जो दिखता है वो बिकता है और चलता है. I think it's something that they have grown up in that ecosystem.
but that is still something that has a much broader aspect to it. Like when you say films, and films also have galis there, but they're playing a character. Maybe that character is like that, so you can still pad it with the story and say that it's part of the story. But yahan pe it's a reality show. In reality, this is happening.
Yeah,
Jyotika is saying what happens is that the face gets associated with certain actions. His face will
yeah,
now be associated with the crass statement, which
yeah,
definitely will stop you from hitting the subscribe button. Now, my other question to everyone who is watching this is also that for how long will you want to punish him, and for how long will you not subscribe, for how long people will remember this? Because ultimately, just before this happened, Udit Narayan's case was being spoken
oh
about, and
yeah,
he started kissing that woman, and that I've seen him live and he does all these things. um, he's performed in Dubai many times, so everybody was talking about that at that time, but now we've forgotten about it. We were talking about this tomorrow,
till
something
something
else
else
will
comes
come.
along.
Will we forget about this? Jyotika, tell us, will you then still remember this, hold on to this, and not go ahead and forget about subscribing, not watch him at all?
Exactly. Actually,
Yeah,
I feel according to them is till now something next comes along or he comes up with some big face
they are
again
also
who's willing.
hoping, they are also hoping कि कोई बड़ी controversy हो जाएगी, and we will also now
Yeah,
be sort of let off easily after this. Because
exactly.
I think when his apology came, I think that's what he was thinking. Okay, this is not going to go too far. Abhi it's not gone that far. There are still more consequences that are. I think another week will go into more things happening, and then the culmination. We can almost.
I can tell you where it'll go, because once the government starts acting, then the thing will shift from them to the government saying, "Look at this government. This is the government that is banning, not stopping
Yeah.
freedom of
But one
speech
thing
and
is
stuff
for
like that."
sure.
All of that
One
will
thing is
start
for
now,
sure.
so it's going to be something. But Prateek has a very important question, which is cuss words or talking about parents' life. I have I never use cuss words at first of all, Pratik. But secondly, I do laugh when I have friends using them, but they don't use it as a cuss word. They use it in a sentence, and they say, I was going there and this, and that guy said this to me, and then BC, and then this thing, and I laugh because of the incident that they're relating, and your reaction would have been same. So cuss words for me, non-stop usage, out of context usage, all of that is not allowed. But if I'm sitting with friends and they tell me something as a joke, I will take it. But if somebody's angry and uses cuss words, then boy, do I take them on and
But
fight for it. And
that's
parents' sex
within
life,
your
come on.
that's yeah, that's within the confines of your own bedroom and what you're doing with your friends. Nobody's gonna bother about
Yeah,
that.
and
But
it should
it is
be
on a
like that,
public platform. Ultimately, this is where we should draw the line.
Yeah.
Let's take more comments from others who have joined in. Nandini is saying, when you reach 10 million followers, discernment has to be used. This was an irresponsible act by going to a platform where derogatory language is used. Greed for more money and fame. Money to mujhe nahi pata, but fame for sure. And more than the fame, I don't think he needs fame from another show. He has a lot of his own in case of Ranveer Allahbadia. But um, the fact that I can go and do whatever I want, I can really be myself. So which tells you that this entire facade that he puts up about being so meditative and talking about Sanatan Dharma and doing all of these things, the pandering to the current government, because he knows these are the people who will get him views, these are the people who
Yeah.
you can. Okay, one second, do you know the charges of a podcast on Ranveer's show?
No.
I've shown it in. I'll tell you one second. I've shown it in my story that I did on YouTube. For a podcast, he charges about 33 lakh rupees,
For
and
somebody to appear?
to appear on the show. And
Wow.
that's a norm. That's everybody does that. He's not the only
Yeah.
one.
But I mean,
Uh,
he obviously has that following. That's why people are willing
Yeah,
to
I leave
pay.
that out. But people love to see. I don't see. This is what happens on social media. आप जितना प्यार किसी को दोगे, that person is going to become a bigger star and make money, a lot of money, just because you are giving that person a lot of love. You are watching his content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what is in it for you always. Anyway, then there is a comment by. I'll get that rate card for you shortly. I'm trying to find it, but let's take
No
more
worries.
comments because more comments are coming in. Jokes are subjective. Let's say this one was not the issue
Correct.
that we have here. Is that there were 200 hate speeches from police? Yeah, we took this comment
We've
earlier.
taken this, yeah.
Yeah, but jokes are subjective. This was not a joke. This was just a crass comment. So it's no
This
longer
was,
subjective.
yeah, the whole
Everybody
show for
minded
me
opinion.
is,
Now the opinion is now the decision. The fact where you have to say is whether they should be punished, or they should be how much they should be punished for this. That is the debate, not whether this is funny or not. This Nobody thinks this is funny. Nobody,
can I,
not a single
exactly.
person.
Can I take Chinmay's
Please,
question?
please. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Ravi Kishan has done vulgar songs. We have had just by him, lot everybody has done that. In fact, Amir Khan. I mean, when we were growing up, this whole chhed char and ladki to na hi pehle na bolegi, phir ha bolegi. That was such a normal thing in Hindi
No,
film.
it was
Amir
most
Khan
ganas
actually
were
said that, that
most
I apologize for what I did earlier. Times change, awareness comes in, you change. But I don't think, and therefore they've all realized, that what they were doing was wrong. Initially, a lot of things that we said or did, we did not realize it was right or wrong. I'm talking about me, and I'm not talking about any of the vulgar songs. Vulgar songs also were thrashed. They are always thrashed. So all of that is happening. It is realized, but I don't think these are all gray areas. What you're talking about, vulgar songs and all of that. Galis is not a gray area. It is. I'm sorry. It is a gali. It is not a gray area.
exactly
Talking
that is
about
not
your parents' sex lives is
that is
not a
not the
gray
case.
area.
That is
So
not
there is
after
a
the case.
difference between what you're talking and what happened.
Yeah, for Nandini saying fake apology, which is what I said already.
Yeah.
Jyotika is saying it's not comedy is not his forte. He should not have gone there in the first place. It's not as if the invite would have said Vipassana discourse and then this suddenly happened. Yeah, of course he knew. So yeah, that is another fact that he knew where he's going to be going and
Yeah.
what is going to happen. Nandini is also saying regular meditation makes you aware,
Yeah.
and
I
this
agree.
one saying he does all of these things. Now
I
you
agree.
know in hindsight that all of that is just a facade so that
Facade.
you watch these
Yeah.
videos. He is fake masquerading as a clean good guy. That's what we're saying. There is a new comment. This one's from Kiran Jandre saying people are present at the show and event should confront these people when they make these comments. Remember Salman Khan's comment on rape women? All the reports were laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, but the all the people who are in that ecosystem, firstly, most of the contestants, they वो मरते हैं वहां आने के लिए. They literally would
exactly.
give their arm and they will literally give that uh, to be on that show. They would pay also, and a lot of these guys are well to do. You know, they are from good families. They would, even if you have to pay a few thousand rupees to be on that show, because everyone wants fame, so they would be there. So nobody will have an objection at that time, and if they do have an objection, it'll be even better. They'll shoot that and they will make a video out of that as well.
Yeah.
Then there's Jyotika again saying, "Oh yes, I do not see myself going back to the channels. Gen Zs don't like this." Yeah, I think she's made it pretty clear that Gen Zs don't
She's
want this.
not
Same.
going back. Also,
Yeah.
I want to ask you one thing. You know, this whole thing of wanting to be there. Since when does all of this become cool? When did this become cool to talk? You're cool. You're cool. You're not cool because you're using galis,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you're cool because of your attitude, of your the and especially in terms of comedy, it's all about your take on what's happening on life. It's your take, it's your perspective. It's about being witty means intelligence. This has
Very
got nothing of that.
Tom and Jerry is funny. This wasn't.
This
Uh,
wasn't. I'm sorry,
Wasim
keep on
Aftab
going.
is asking Wasim, we've got more comments, but Wasim is asking, now this show is shut down. What about the previous episodes? See, they actually realize, this is a very good comment actually. They realize that the previous episodes will now be pulled out and they will see
Oh, so
more
that's why he deleted it.
there will be more such bad stuff coming out, which is why he deleted. Because he knows that if somebody sees something from the previous episode, which is even worse than this, he's going to be in more trouble. Which is why he's deleted all the previous episodes. And he's
But having
already
said that, if the case is going on, they will be asked to submit their tapes.
they will be, but that is later. Abhi ke liye, as a damage control or to
Yeah,
prevent
yeah,
damage from happening, he has deleted all the episodes, and we think, oh
yeah.
my god, Bichara has deleted all his hard work. Pratik is saying, why do you think the ire against these people has snowballed to this point? You don't think it's fueled by predatory platforms? Let's buy you and we'll lend you. Okay, yeah, was yeah, but then also they did something which can be then snowballed into something like this. They gave it on a platter. If there is a predatory platform trying to do this, if they want to shut him down, if there are people who are jealous of him
He's
and
given them the
want to
reason.
harm him, he's actually given them enough order to do that.
Yeah.
Pratik is also saying Jyotika, he has had worse episodes on IGL.
Wow.
Humor has always been, yeah. Why do you feel betrayed? Because maybe she hasn't seen those. If you have seen, you
Yeah.
can tell us what was there in those episodes. We will definitely want to know. Ranveer and Apoorva sabotage Samay. I don't think. I think they're equally all.
All of them, they were all trying to be cool and trying to be very hip with it. That's what I think. And they thought this was
I
being,
don't think
this was being cool.
anyone was trying to do anything to the other one. They were all
And I don't
collective
think they, and I
on each
don't
other.
think they even thought this thing through that this is how it's going to snowball across the
There
country.
will be backlash if it comes out. इतना तो पता होगा. Come on, they are not
Yeah, yeah.
living in some. Uh,
Oh, you think that they would know
of course,
about
इतना तो पता होगा कि if this comes out, they'll have some backlash. Probably, see, you can never tell what will the extent to which it will go. You know,
Okay, I
something
think
like
that
this.
I
Okay,
think they thought it was cool.
something
I
like
think there were these young kids earning huge amount of monies, and they thought it's cool to be who they are and what they are.
they,
And since they're doing it under subscription and the paywalls that you've talked about, therefore people who come there know what they're getting, and that's the whole
I
thing.
got the rate card, and this is reported by Outlook Business, so I can. Most things are I don't trust on the internet. I try to do my own research, but
Right,
this is a breakdown of Ranveer Allahbadia's net worth. His net worth is 60 crores.
right,
Just one podcast, a package, which is 33 lakh rupees. Now, I'll tell you how a podcast package works. I also do that.
right.
You get someone on board, you tell them, okay, you come to our studio, everything is set up, the equipment is yours, the studio is yours, the guest comes in, you charge them, in this case, 33 lakh rupees. In that, you get a 1 hour full podcast that goes on YouTube. Small cuts of it become shorts and reels on
Yeah.
Instagram,
Okay.
and they
Yeah.
are promoted and they are populated and they are shared with the brand so that you get a collab. And this entire, and then you get some posts along with it, you get some photos along with it, you get an article.
Hmm.
In a case like Ranveer's, you can even do a tie-up with another media saying that once we go do the podcast, we'll send you a an excerpt of it. You can make a story out of it. Let's say they come to TV9, for example, and say, okay, you can run a story on this thing that he said on my podcast. He revealed, this guest revealed this thing. Or they can go to a newspaper and say, okay, we'll go to Times of India, and Times of India will post this, carry this story after the podcast is live or before the podcast gets live. So this entire thing becomes a package. That's
Hmm.
33 lakh. I'll come back to the comments. Then there's Insta Reels, which is about 8 lakhs per reel.
Hmm.
So if you want to just do reels, you have to pay 8 lakhs per reel. Story is 4 lakhs per story. One story, this
Wow.
dude charges 4 lakh rupees. A video campaign where he's saying something for you on video, I'm assuming, is 10 lakh rupees. A static post is 6 lakh rupees. Um, and I was telling you about these are his charges, and I was telling you about his investments in his businesses. He has Monk Entertainment, Big Brain Co, Beer Biceps, Skill House, The Ranveer Show, and Level Supermind. These are all the things that he runs. He has a lot of business interests. So, and he
Entrepreneur.
comes from
That's
a
an investment.
he comes from a very wealthy family. I know a very dear friend who is family friends with them. In fact, when I was in Mumbai last couple of weeks back, he told me that he had come for some meditation session only like this. Kuch to tha, some religious function, and Ranveer was there, and he said if I want to interview Ranveer, he can ask him. So I said, yeah, okay. At that time, like things were okay with him. This is a couple of weeks back. I said, yeah, I don't mind interviewing, but he should be ready. I don't think he will want to get interviewed at this
Yeah.
point in time. He's getting enough
I
airtime.
met him once actually. He had come to Khan Market
Uh,
in
did, I,
winters, starting of winters last year, and
did he
I
come
we
to
were in a sorry.
Did he come to your studios?
No, no, no. I had gone to pick up something to eat, and he was
Uh,
in the same shop, same patisserie, and we. So he smiled, I smiled, and I said, "I really like watching your podcast. They're quite interesting," which is what I said. And I walked out and all of that. But like I said, I think these guys thought this was being cool. Like I said, that they are going to face the music that they have, bought it on themselves. And for me, the interesting part is what they're going to do next. Either they can sink or they'll swim. And if they want to hold their head up high, I would like to see what they do next.
let's take some more comments before we close. Aditya is
Yeah,
saying, I think he was insecure of how he would look. He wanted to look cool, ended up making a fool.
yeah, that I agree.
This is a very valid point.
Yeah,
This could be, I think, because a lot of people of his age would want to be like this and
yeah, yeah,
be on a show like this rather than doing what he's doing at this point in time.
yeah,
That was also giving him a lot of exposure. Otherwise,
yeah.
that is one. Then KT is saying, "I hope there are permanent repercussions of this. Can't let them go scot free. All of them on the panel. I don't think there's anything permanent. Trust
Yeah,
me.
I agree.
We're talking about this today. Next week, next Thursday, this time, people would have moved on.
I agree. Tomorrow something happens. Look, we stopped talking about Saif Ali, who's
And
bigger.
again, he will be doing the same. Like he'll be getting people on spot. It'll take a while. Of course, he won't get the Smriti Iranis and PM Modi's kind
Yeah,
of
it'll
people.
take him out time. Yeah,
It'll
so
take him
that
a while, but
the brand
right
has
now,
taken a hit.
yeah. So he
The
will not
brand
get.
has taken a hit, and once you lose your credibility, to get it back is really, really tough. So,
Yeah.
like I said, it is. Let's see what they do next to earn that. Now they'll have to earn it. Earlier, it
Mm.
was given on the platter because people love.
Yeah, he will have to make do with a lot of B grade, C grade guests. So
Yeah,
for a while
yeah,
now,
yeah.
Kiran is
Maybe
saying
he'll
the
end
worst
up
part
paying
is,
people to come to his show now for a little while.
yeah, he's made a lot of money. He can do that. The
Yeah,
worst part is that these jokes were not even original. It was copied from a foreign comedy show.
true. They
Again,
were.
that was itself was not comic. I don't know how
No,
this
same here.
piece became comical. I don't know who in the West also thinks it's comical. I want to know one person who finds it
Yeah,
comical or
I agree
funny.
with you. I know.
I really want to know that one person. Any of
Yeah.
you, if you find it funny, please tell us. We would want to know how is it funny and what did we miss. The
Rona,
problem is,
I don't know if you've seen films. I've seen so many Hollywood films, and there, some of the things on OTT also, where the moment the
yeah,
husband and the mother and father, they come closer, they start kissing each other, which is very acceptable in their thing. And you have kids doing, you don't do this, don't talk. I mean, it's a very universal thing for
it is,
everyone.
but
So
no, that is
I really
okay.
don't know.
Arey Baba, that way things are there in Friends also. Friends, it's such an old show and we've all watched it, grown up
Yeah,
watching. It has a
yeah.
lot of class stuff, but it, like I think, it's going in the character, in the flow. It is
Yeah,
not
yeah, but
so,
there also they object when the moment the father, Ross's father and mom talk,
talk
something.
about, yeah, yeah,
They,
yeah, I know,
both the kids go,
yeah,
you don't do that. It's a that's it's
really
a,
yucky,
like I
yeah.
said, this is not, there were no gray areas here. It was completely black.
That is true. Pratik is saying, let's look at the other, at this way. He would have made about 20 plus episodes by now. Umpteen jokes, creative ideas. Would you end it all over one question? Pretty extreme. Really popular show and enjoyed by many. I mean, um,
Yeah, he thought it was cool. He'll get away with it. That's why he did what he
yeah,
did.
if this episode wouldn't have caused so much ruckus, they would be shooting at, even at
Continuing,
this.
yeah, true,
Yeah, they
true.
would be doing another one.
Yeah,
He betrayed us in the name of meditation and spirituality.
he's talking about
Sanjay
Ranveer.
is saying,
Yeah.
trust me, I mean, I never fell for it. Seriously, I
No,
feel
no,
so
I
good.
didn't. For me, it was not about, oh, he's such a deep guy or he's, run whatever. I
I
just
know,
loved the guests who came
probably
in, and the
because I'm
guests
in the
spoke very
business
well.
now. Probably
Yeah, yeah,
much smaller. But then I've done journalism for like what 18, 12,
yeah.
19 years now. So I know what goes behind. I know, like, when we go to cover stories, we're not, like, when I was covering 2611. I'm sorry, but at that point, I was not thinking about the victims. I was thinking about my headline. I was thinking about getting that soundbite. I was thinking about getting that visual. I was not thinking about the body count. It was only after it got over, I'm like, oh my God, there's such a big tragedy. So many
Yeah,
people lost their lives.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I used to feel so angry when the victim's family wouldn't want to speak. I would feel anger from within, that why are they not talking to me? Uh, I'm only trying to, get the
Help
story
them
out. But it didn't occur to me that they don't care about your story. They've lost
grief.
a family
Yeah.
member. So it completely eclipses your perspective. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
totally.
Uh,
It does.
you. I'm sure you've gone through all of that yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That
Don't
and
know
more.
about that and more. Yeah. Don't know what Ranveer Samay will be selling a lot more tickets post this whole saga. The sole reason behind all the support he'll have is because he's done a lot of chess and the stand-up scene. Could be, yeah.
Look,
It's a
I don't
strange.
want them to. I don't want them to be on the streets. I don't want them to go into the jail. I don't want them to be, slammed, or I don't want any harm coming to their family. So I'm okay with what happens to them. But my point is, I want to see what they do now, and I do want them to be aware of the fact that what they did was A, not cool, and B, they crossed the gray line into black. That's it. That's all I want.
Yeah, and we still looking, by the time we finish this entire live discussion. If we find someone great, we will take that person on air and we'll ask him if he or she finds this thing that Ranveer said on the show about parents and asking someone to join in when they are, uh, you know, having their time. Tell us if you find it funny, and we would like to know what is it that we missed. So that is one. Secondly, we're pretty much at the end of this discussion. So
Yeah.
I'll wrap up. As always, I will take the names of all the people who joined us and made this discussion far more fruitful and far more
Interesting.
worth our time as well. So Jyotika joined us. She was the first one to join. Jyotika is the Gen Z, and she totally doesn't subscribe to this kind of humor as well.
Good.
Jyotika Singh, Rama Lalla joined us. Then Nandini Samant is very vocal on the show. Pratik Jain. Then we had Manjunath. We had Chinmay
Manjunath.
Sharma. Yes, we also had Kiran Janre. We had Wasim Aftab, and we had KT on the show. We also had Sangai Sange Doma.
Yeah.
You can tell us where you are from as well. We would like to know. And we had quite a few people actually. Even at this point, some 26 people are joined in. This video is going to stay on my feed, and I'll share the link with Geeta as well, so she can
Thank
post
you.
it across socials as well. Geeta, let's try and touch base upon this sometime next week so that we can see where
Update.
exactly,
Yeah.
and also the answer to your question, to see where next, for these guys in terms of their
Yeah.
career and the work that they
Yeah.
do.
That is for me. I want to see what happens to them. But anyways, it was always pleasure talking to you, Ron.
As always, yeah, absolutely. We've
And
spoken
it was
on the
fantastic to have so many people joining in because it was so interactive. Because then you get to know, and like you said, we've got Gen Z part of it, and you know exactly how they feel. So it's quite lovely
it's
to have
definitely
people
touched
join.
a honor. What they
Yeah,
did has definitely opened up Pandora's box in terms of also the kind of content that's coming on OTT. I saw a lot of comments saying, "सबसे पहले OTT में alt Balaji को बंद करवाओ." Even Netflix
that's
or any other platform is a lot of crass stuff going on, but
it is.
it's I mean, some things are they are gray. This wasn't.
This
That's for sure.
wasn't good. I Let's agree on that and
Let's
say
agree
bye to
on
each
that.
other.
We need to say bye to each other. Thank you so much, Geeta, for joining in, and thank you everyone for joining us this
Thank you.
afternoon.
Thank you so much. It
Unannounced.
was a pleasure.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. That was Geeta Deesh, an old colleague of mine, and she now heads. She's the deputy news editor at News 9 Digital. And next week we'll try and touch base once again on this. If you guys have any thoughts, and I'm sure you have, leave it in the comments, and I'll definitely reply to all of those as well. And we'll do more of these lives in the times to come. So please do join in whenever you can. And like, share, subscribe, do the drill. I won't say anything else beyond that. But even if you don't, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and those around you. Jai Hind.